Hello everyone, Jeff here, and today I am joined by Loco,
Hello, hello.
and we're going to be walking through the Antilia client, taking a look at all the features and specifically stuff that needs to be sorted out and improved before the Antilia dev team starts testing again and giving me some feedback. Now, normally we look at Antilia, and in these videos I typically do a bit of editing, of course, and try and present Antilia in the best front. But in this video, we're going to take a little bit more of a critical look at the state of things, what's working and what's not, and just making some decisions on what things need to be sorted out within the next couple weeks before probably the next video, and what things will potentially we can kind of wait on. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start out by creating a new game here, but first, just a quick note that yeah, the background is stationary. That's intentional. I've been turning off various animated feature like that so that we can kind of sort out where frame rate hits are being taken, what's affecting a frame rate. And it turns out that the particle system on the main menu here was actually hurting frame rate. So I've got plans to fix that using some C++ code. But let's go ahead and create a new game, which I haven't done this process in a while, so along the way we may run into some problems. So currently the only thing that works is the save name, I believe. So we'll just call this just game 27, I believe is the next one. I'll go ahead and create. Looks like it did its thing there. So next it takes us to the character creator, and this is perhaps one of the first challenges we'll run into. I'm just going to quickly throw together a little Coro character, I guess. I don't want to get too caught up in this.
Yeah, the name randomizing is quite useful for creating character really, really fast.
And let's just leave it there. So it takes us to the character select screen, and I think this is the first thing that we'll probably want to put on the to-do list, is that once we've created a character, there's currently no way to go back and create a second character. You'll notice down here it's just delete, edit, share. So there's a couple decisions to be made. One, are we going to keep the shared characters feature in the gallery? That's a tricky decision because especially when we get into game mods, that's not really going to work. So we'll have to make some decisions there, I think. Because you'll notice we
And
have just not enough quite room for another button, so...
yeah, and a little bit of a note, it didn't create the thumbnail picture
Oh, you're right.
in the... Probably how fast you actually created the character.
No, it's fine. There's a bug there, so let's go ahead and hit play, and we'll probably discover what the next bug is. It's probably going to put me in a bad position, or yeah, I kind of expected that to happen now that I think about it. So that's our next bug, is when it creates a new character, it's going to have to put your character somewhere intelligent. If we start moving, okay, we're in the middle of nowhere. Okay, so that's definitely another one. I'm going to stop the game here, and I'm going to manually move that character. Or maybe we can just go ahead and move on to loading. Well, there is one more note. Let me get the game running again here. So a couple bugs I want to bring to our attention just right here at the load game screen. One, we don't really have any information to show here. We don't have a picture to show. It's a little glitchy when you click on these things. You'll notice if I click on the text it doesn't work, but if I click off the text it works. So that's going to need to be fixed. We don't have any screenshots to show, no game data to show. I don't think we necessarily need to fix any of that though before internal testing begins again. This clicking thing is kind of annoying. I think I should fix that if I can. Now another one I want to show is if we try and go back from here and go back to main menu, and now we try and load the game again, it tries to launch the simulation server a second time and it crashes. So that's one we're going to have to fix. I'm going to go ahead and load this broken game again real quick just to bring to attention one more bug. So here's our character floating in space, and another thing that's kind of missing here is if we hit tab and go to the inventory, the character starts out with no inventory expansion boxes. So basically your inventory is just the hotbar at this point, And technically, also, there should be little equipment slots. So with no inventory expansion, you just have your slots and your hotbar. But I find this real confusing that you come up and there's nothing in here. I'd be curious to see what happens if we click on a cactus fruit. Does it still give you anything? We should maybe go try that. Okay, so I've got the character's position sorted out, or somewhere reasonable again. We're going to go ahead and run up into the hills here and click on a cactus. I'm just kind of curious what'll happen if we'll actually receive any cactus fruit.
Yes, and I wonder if the cactus will appear directly in the hotbar, or because the inventory is sort of empty, or if it will appear in an invisible slot in the inventory screen, you know, one of the boxes that's just not there.
Yeah, I don't know. Because like you say, it could get put into one of the, I don't think it'll get put into one of the equipment slots. I think those are actually negative numbers, just so it never tries to put something there. But I guess we'll try it and we'll see. We'll see if it pops up right here, or maybe in one of the hand positions. I'm not sure what slot number 1 is, or if it'll even do that at all. Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
So, yeah, it doesn't put it into the hotbars.
Yeah. Now I've had it put it in the hotbars before, but only if I first drag it onto the hotbar. Then when you pick up a second one, it'll increment that number. But yeah, it looks like it doesn't try and put it in the hotbars. So I should look into that, because these should be treated like inventory slots, and maybe not the hands. Although it would be kind of nice if you clicked on something if it just put it straight into your hand.
So yeah, maybe it's putting them into the invisible inventory slots, you know.
I think it's just failing entirely, maybe. Like it's just saying, oh, you have no inventory, nowhere to put it, oh well. So we'll have to fix that one. And I was thinking, when you start a new character, should we give you one little box to begin with?
Yes, definitely. A small starting inventory that's already available would be an immense benefit.
I think
You can
one
always
little box would be good.
Yeah, you can always expand the inventory later on through like buying additional slots or unlocking them in like a perk tree.
So when you go to upgrade your character, you might see one of these +1 inventory expansion groups. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the other little glitches we're aware of here. I'll go ahead and walk up this mountain. For one, there's some things with the camera. We've kind of acknowledged that the camera isn't clipping to the train properly. I don't know if that's necessarily something we have to fix before internal testing again. But let's take a look at some of the other things that we're aware of and decide if they need to be fixed. So one is this: certain pages are glitching, or maybe it's because of the portion of the map I'm exporting. We're definitely getting some ugly little places where like this direction everything looks fine, but over here when we look in this direction, I think we're seeing the edge of the map because we're kind of probably close to the edge of that LOD set. So I might expand my LOD export a little bit more. And then we also noticed that over here, for some reason, there's areas where the clutter isn't, like right here. Suddenly the clutter just stops. There's like a line and it stops generating. So I've got to figure out what's going on there. But that's not really something that would hold up testing so much. I think the creating characters. Another one I was thinking: do we want to make this work right now too, to switch between characters? I'd really like to have that in the game sooner rather than later.
For that, you would have to enable multiple character creation.
Yeah, we'll need the multiple character creation, which isn't hard. We just need a button for it. And then yeah, some way to just quickly pick another character and switch to them. I think that would actually help in testing, to be able to switch between characters and try things from different character perspective without having to log out and log in. So,
yeah, I think a normal button like make active character or select this as an active character would suffice. Of course, the other characters would just be standing in a spot. They wouldn't be animated.
you'll see them standing, like if I switch a character, I can then walk to that character that I switched from, and they'll just be standing there. There's no AI yet for them to do anything. So the next, I guess the first thing to test is just basic movement. Um, Going into the inventory and moving things around from slot to slot needs to be tested. I know there's some little glitches in there that I haven't been able to tease out where you can split a stack but then not get it to rejoin. You can't recombine stacks correctly. So those are the kind of things I'm hoping that the dev team can start helping to identify and test a little bit.
Yeah, and weed out some like duplication bugs and that sort of stuff.
And then as we get into the skills, as I start getting the skill tree starting to actually work, because that's what I'm working on right now, is getting this stuff to actually work, then we can start tying skills to actually doing things in the game. And I'll probably start that with the cactus fruit thing because it's already kind of there. So taking a cactus fruit will take a bit of energy, and it needs to fail if you don't have enough energy, that sort of thing. As another thing I should probably get working in the next week maybe is get the health bars and energy bars all doing things. That's pretty easy to do. But I think that's actually going to wrap it up for this look at Antilia. I've got plenty to do for 2 weeks, and then maybe in the next video, or definitely before the next developers meeting, which we usually share on Patreon. For the Patreon supporters, they get to listen in. Last time we had one of those meetings, I said that I was going to have this ready for the dev team to test by the next meeting, but I think that's pretty much going to fall real close to the same as 2 weeks from now. So when we take a look at this in 2 weeks, let's try to have as many of those things addressed as possible, is what I'm thinking. Okay, well, thanks for joining me, Loco.
You're welcome.
I hope you all found this kind of a unedited look at Antilia and some of the realities of where the game's really at and what kind of things need to be fixed. I hope you found that interesting, and I hope you'll join us again next time. See you then.
Cheers.
A special thanks goes to this month's Patreon supporters. If you'd like to support the project, you can do so by visiting www.patreon.com/Antilia.